Good morning. I hope you're having a great day so far today. I am starting on page 71 in your book. If you want to turn to 71 in your book, I'll give you a second to get there. Everybody's turning to page 71 in their book, right? Everyone is turning to page 71 in their book. You all brought your books today. All right, so we're looking at problem number 18, modeling with mathematics. Okay? It says, Sam's Furniture Store places the following advertisement in the local newspaper. Write a system of equations for the 3 combinations of furniture. What is the price of each piece of furniture? And explain. Okay? So this is definitely a real-world problem, right? You see advertisements like this. Now, I mean, you may not be shopping for furniture all the time, but there's other things that they do like this. Okay? So the first place I like to look when I'm trying to do this, because basically I have to write a system of equations, right? Not only does it say that I have to write a system of equations, that's kind of what I have to do in order to solve this problem. Okay? So I like to look at the question first to help me decide what do I start with. Okay? What is the price of each piece of furniture? So I'm looking for each individual piece of furniture, and by looking at the advertisement back here, I have a sofa, a love seat, and a chair. Right? Sofa, 2 chairs, sofa, love seat, and chair. So I have a sofa, love seat, and a chair. Now at this point, we need to decide what kind of variables we're going to choose. Okay? We can do we can choose like X, Y, and Z, because that's what we're used to using. Or we can choose what's called meaningful variables. Okay? A meaningful variable is choosing a variable that like is the starting letter of what we're talking about. So like S for sofa, L for love seat, and C for chairs. Okay? I usually don't like to choose S, just for the record, just because it looks like a 5 sometimes. But if we're careful, we can do that. Okay? But first thing we always do when we're writing a system of equations from a word problem like this is, or a story problem, or a real world problem, or whatever you want to call it, is we have to identify our variables. Okay, we identify our variables. Now, that's not saying we're going to use X, Y, and Z, and we just write X, Y, and Z. Identify our variables mean we're going to say X equals sofa. Let's use a cursive L. Okay, L stands for love seat, and C stands for chair. Okay. Again, we could have chosen X, Y, and Z, but I want to show you what it looks like when we have meaningful variables in the problem. Okay. So if we have a sofa, love seat, and chair as our variables, it looks like that. Okay. I'm going to scoot this out just a second so we can have a little bit more room to write on this piece of paper. Okay. So we've got our explanation right here, right? So a sofa and a love seat is $1,300. Well, if these are the variables we're using, the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and set up our system. Set up system. Okay? We know a sofa and a love seat cost $1,300. So sofa plus love seat equals $1,300. Right? Okay. Then we have sofa and 2 chairs is $1,400. So a sofa and 2 chairs is $1,400. Now, do you see I'm trying to line up my variables right here? Is that important? Remember how we talked yesterday about it had to be X, Y, Z, equal sign, and then the constant all lined up? Well, we don't have X, Y, and Z this time, but we do have S, L, and C, and we need all the S's lined up, all the L's lined up, all the C's, all the equal signs, and then all the constants. Okay? So then our last equation is a sofa, a love seat, and 1 chair is $1,600. So a sofa and a love seat and a chair equals $1,600. Okay? Well, if that's our system, do you guys want to solve this by elimination, or do you want to use the calculator? Haha, that was just a joke. I know you want to use the calculator, okay? So if we want to use the calculator, we need to write our augmented matrix, okay? Augmented matrix, A-T-R-I-X, okay? Remember what our augmented matrix is? It's our coefficients of our system. So we have 1, 1. Uh-oh. I don't have a C for this one, so what do I put? Good, a 0, and then 1,300. Okay, S, so 1, uh-oh. Oh, okay, 0, 2, and then 1,400. And then 1, 1, 1, 1,600. Okay, then we take out our calculator. We turn it on, right? Turn it on. I know some of you are like, oh, someone didn't clear it except it's mine. So I didn't clear it last time, all right? So I can always go menu, actions, clear history, and then it's blank, okay? So remember the steps that we need to do to get this into the calculator. Menu, matrix, reduced row echelon form. Some of you yesterday were getting confused by choosing row echelon form. Instead, make sure you're choosing reduced row echelon form. Okay? Menu, matrix again, but this time we're going to create a matrix. How many rows does it have? 1, 2, 3 rows. And how many columns does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 columns. And again, it looks like what it's supposed to look like if it's the right shape. Okay? When I enter all my numbers, 1 tab, 0 tab, 1,300, tab, 1 tab, 0 tab, 2 tab, 1,400, 1, 1, 1, 1,600. When I press enter, what do I see? Well, first I look and say, do I have a diagonal of 1s? Do I have a diagonal of 1s? Yes, I do. If I have a diagonal of 1s, then this column is my answer. Do I write my answer as an ordered triple this time? I don't, right? I don't write it as an ordered triple this time. I have to answer the question. And remember, the question that was being asked is, what is the price of each piece of furniture? So the first variable that I had was S. So in my answer matrix, let me write this down real quick. 100 800, 010 500, 001 300. Oh, I forgot my imaginary line here and here, which will help because I do see that row of diagonals, right? The diagonal of 1, excuse me. So I know my first variable that I used, in this case an S, is going to be 800. So we'll go ahead and write S equals 800. This is not the end, but it'll give us a start. Okay. My second variable I used was 500, so L is 500. And the third variable I used was C, and C is 300. Okay. Now I have to answer the question that the problem asked. What is the price of each piece of furniture, and explain? Well, this work is your explanation. This is how you got the answer. Now, if you do it by elimination, obviously you have all those other steps, okay? But if we have S, L, and C, I have to explain what that means. Well, what was I trying to find again? The price of each piece of furniture. So I'm going to say a sofa is $800. Oh yeah, that's a sentence, right? Capital letter, punctuation at the end, noun, verb, all that kind of stuff, right? So what was the next one going to say? What was L? What did L stand for? A love seat is $500. And last one, chairs. A chair is $300. Now, does that make sense in the problem? A sofa and a love seat. Sofa and a love seat is $1,300. Yep, that's true. 800 and 500 is 1,300. Sofa and 2 chairs. A sofa is 1,800. 2 chairs would be 600. So 800 and 600 is definitely 1,400. So that makes sense. The last one, a sofa, a love seat, and 1 chair. 800, 500 is 13, 14, 15, 1,600. Yep, I know that that's the correct answer. Okay, so we identify our variables, we set up a system, We write our augmented matrix, let the calculator do the work, and get our answer matrix. Then we write down what our variables were and what we solved for them, and then we write our answer. This is our answer, not this. This is just a bunch of numbers. This answers the question that we were being asked, which was, what is the price of each piece of furniture? Okay? Look at the question last if you're having, or excuse me, first if you're having trouble figuring out what your variables should be. Find out what they're asking. What's the price of each piece of furniture? I knew that the pieces of furniture needed to be my variables. Okay? And we just go from there. Good? So you have some questions there on the sideboard. They all come from your workbook. So take the time to go through those today. Get your variables identified. Get your system set up. Write your augmented matrix. Get your answer matrix. Define your variables again. After you identified them, now we define them, and then we write our answer. Okay? I hope you have a great day. Peace.